Hey folks, continuing to answer questions about how to deal with wild food foraging and feasting in a full survival situation. What was the most successful wild meal? And I have to break it down into the seasons. And I want to start with the concept of a single individual versus a crew of people. The landscape's going to dictate how much carrying capacity it's going to be able to handle with you. I've had a group of 3 people come into an area in western Maine and wipe out the frog population for 2.5 years because that's all they ate was frogs. Yeah, they're easy to catch, but how long are they going to last? And then you have to move on, which burns calories. You have to rebuild shelters, gather more firewood, start from scratch. So doing it smart, having seasonal encampments, for instance, or gravitating toward the idea of hunter-gatherer nomadic and using that central shelter and clover leafing out so that it lasts for 3 or 4 weeks instead of 3 or 4 days. Ask any practitioner what happens when they stay on one piece of land for too long, whether it's bushcraft or survival or outdoor education. They're going to have a negative impact on that landscape, and it's no longer going to be able to provide for you. So let's break down the seasons. This is the first one in the series of the next 4. Spring. Spring is all about ground thawing, sap flowing, roots and tubers, and fishing, right? The fish are coming up, the migratory fish. So with roots and tubers, we're hitting burdock, evening primrose, dandelion, wild carrot, wild parsnip. Be careful because in the Umbrelliferae family, which includes wild carrot and wild parsnip, there's also water hemlock and poison hemlock. So know your craft, know your botany before you start diving into roots and tubers. With the fish, the smelts are coming up as soon as the ice is out. Suckers are next, and then alewives. With alewives, we have dip netting regulations that allow us to catch 20 fish per day in a dip net. I'm smoking those. I'm first brining them overnight, then slow smoking them to drive out the moisture and impart that resin from that smoke into the meat. And then for triple duty safety for getting them through winter, I'm going to freeze them. Now, as a person, an individual, you're going to spend a lot of calories getting calorie return. Go where the fish are running. Location is everything. So is timing in the spring. Greens are going to feed you, but they're not going to provide you calories. The roots and tubers are going to provide you the calories to go fishing, and the fish are going to be preserved to get you through the coming weeks, months, even through winter, if you have a crew. This is where the difference between a single person and 4 to 6 people in the spring are going to make all the difference in the world. A crew is going to allow you to dry nettles and dandelions and gather pine pollen, as well as keep the smoker running at camp while there's people out fishing and bringing them back to gut them and process them. If you have 4 to 6 people, you even have the luxury of breaking out the mason jars and making pickled herring, which is a short investment, but you're feeding yourself for the long term. You need calories to get calories. So that's the essence of spring. Next one will be a breakdown of how to approach summer as an individual and creating that wild harvested calorie surplus that's needed. It's going to be slight, but you can make feasts out of this. And as we get towards the most bountiful time of year, it's going to get easier to do so. But just keep in the back of your mind, winter is coming. See you on the trail.